It may not be our favorite subject to talk about, but we got to talk about it. We can't just sweep it under the rug and pretend like it doesn't exist, or pretend like it's going to fix itself, because it's not going to fix itself, or pretend like it's somebody else's problem, because this impacts every single one of us, whether personally, directly, or indirectly. It impacts our families and it impacts our communities, and we have to come together to do something about it. And that's when it comes to addiction. And we have to have this safe place that we can be open and talk about it without hearing some sermon, without hearing judgment and criticism. Because in the 12 years that our church has been working with addicts, I've never met one that said this was my plan in life. This was my goal, was to be struggling with an addiction at this point in my life. Not one single one. And in our experience in helping people, and I can only base this on our experience. This is not the science. This is not the latest poll or data. In our experience, those addictions start in one of two places. Either one, where a family or friend says, here, try this. And the next thing they know, they're going down a dark road that they never intended to go down, and one that God never intended them to go down. And now they find themselves in their own personal hell, looking for some way out. And we have no clue how much struggle they go through, whether physically and mentally and emotionally. And the last thing they need to do is have a pointing finger or something thumping them over the head in this dark place that they find themselves. But the second place that we see addiction start is generally the one that we don't want to talk about very much, but it's a very common way. And that's when we experience some traumatic event in life, say a car wreck. And the next thing we know, because of the pain that we're experiencing, we get placed on a heavy pain med that results in an addiction and leads us down a dark road that we never intended on going down. And it isn't to blame the medical professionals, because they're giving you what they can to help you in this season of pain. But unfortunately, sometimes that leads to places that none of us ever intended on going. And we can't just pretend like it doesn't exist. You know, that's one of the reasons why in today's newest podcast episode, we're talking about overcoming addiction and the danger in isolation. We sit down with our really good friend Gina, who was experiencing that traumatic event herself back in 2017. And she opens up and is very transparent and shares her story, and that she never did drugs or alcohol. And the next thing she knew, after a very serious car wreck, she gets placed on a very heavy dosage of pain meds, and it leads to an addiction that she never intended on having. And to overcome that addiction, she reached for alcohol, and that led down another dark road. And so this is her story today. And so this is that place that we're hoping that we can offer just a little bit of encouragement to, whether it's somebody who's experiencing an addiction or isolation or both, or somebody who has somebody close to them in their family or friend, or maybe an adult child that you have, and the struggle that you're going through. And I'm so sorry. But our goal is not to beat you over the head, but to get down into that dark place with you and say, here's all we got to offer, but maybe this will help inspire you. And as Gina shares her story, it's remarkable, because what the devil meant for bad, God not only used to bring her closer to him, but has also now transformed her and is using that bad, dark season to bring light into somebody else's dark season. So we can't ignore it, and we can't pretend like it doesn't exist, and we can't pretend like it's somebody else's problem to deal with, because it impacts every single one of us. If you want to listen to today's podcast, just search Trent Tribe on your favorite podcast platform, and it'll be right there. Overcoming addiction and the danger of isolation. And we just pray that if nothing else, that it encourages one person today, because we love you guys and we truly want to see God move and deliver us, and for us to walk in that victory that he has for us. Love y'all.